Hello, everyone, and welcome to your weekly energy healing. This is for the planet. And our biggest concern this week is all about kids and social media. I'm focusing on two different aspects. One is where girls can be attuned to the um, I suppose we call it the algorithm or the advertising hit that gives dopamine to the brain. So all of us who have had childhoods that were outside, outdoors, we were able to, go to school on our own. We were able to play outside with our friends, have a social life. We want to really use that understanding, that wisdom from our childhood to bring it into this treatment. So those of you who did have childhoods like that, which is a lot of us, let's just focus in on that. And there's still some people who do have childhoods that are like that, though it is prevalent on the planet that the phone, especially the dopamine hit we get from the phone. Like if you think about, I remember when I would text message someone and then I'd kind of get a little bit anxious till they answered. And then they would answer and I just feel this relief. So I know that was a dopamine hit. You get that hit. So we could be getting hits just from, you could shop for something, Amazon, right? You can just get hits from that little hit just from buying something. So we want to start breaking that pattern. For girls, we're going to look at it as that aspect of comparing themselves and where that could be very damaging to their self-esteem. And birds moving around. And we're going to look at boys. Boys have a different way of doing things. So when they go to video games, they can become addicted because it's a constant dopamine hit. Now, whether it's girls or boys, it doesn't matter, but I am defining those types of brains. So whoever's listening to this, it will go to that part of your brain because we all have a feminine and masculine. So you could still be addicted to a game and someone else could still be, there are plenty of boys who could look at, how men should look and then feel like they're not meeting that, or somebody who's worked out, or even to the point where someone has an illness, right? Someone can have an illness and not be able to do things, and that comparative comes up. So I'm working with comparison and how the brain looks at comparison and then starts to strive to be something that they are not, striving to be something that they are not. That's a weird statement because what we are is not something, it's something that changes on the outside. It doesn't change on the inside, really, because the I am experience, the I am is consistent. The I am something is inconsistent. We'll keep changing that. And that's not really how we experience ourselves as a mutable thing. Most people will say, oh, things haven't changed. I haven't changed, until you start to notice, like, I'm old now, so I notice, wow, okay, no, I definitely don't have the face or the body or the eyes or the teeth or the skin or the hair or anything that I used to have. So everything is changing all the time. We don't necessarily experience it that way. We experience this slow transition. But it's good to know that something within remains constant. So when you think of a person like me who's older, or somebody who's 70 or 80 or 90, inside they feel like they're 16 again. I feel like I'm 16 inside. I don't feel any different. I haven't changed that way. I'm still that person. My knowledge has changed, which is just accumulated information. My abilities have changed. My skin has changed. All those things are constantly changing. But that doesn't mean I have. Doesn't mean I have. Just because your skin suit is different, it doesn't mean you've changed. So we want to understand that duality. We want to understand that duality. It's a duality. there's this constant change, and then there's part of us that is in the vertical that's just not changing. It's just, you could call it the soul, you could call it beingness, you could call it the I am without any definition. I am tall. And then one day you wake up and it's like, I'm not as tall as I used to be. I shrunk a little bit, so I'm short. But it's not who I am. It has nothing to do with who I am. So we're really looking at that. There's a great way we can use social media, that kind of brainwashing to, change the neurotransmitters of the brain so that the person becomes stressed about it. No, we just need to understand, I could work out and create a bigger muscle. I could even make one arm more muscular than the other arm. I could do that if I want to, right? You can do whatever you need to do with your body, but it has nothing to do with you. Nothing at all. You are someone who's here, looking for purpose in life. What's purpose? Well, it could be, purpose is I get up in the morning, I make my bed, I do my job. That gives me purpose. That gives me meaning. I like to look at beauty. I like to talk to people and help people. If I notice somebody, this is personal to me, if somebody is doing something that I think is super dangerous for themselves, I hope that I can help them to stop doing that dangerous thing so they could live, in beauty. I mean, beauty is a huge portion of meaning. Just reading a really good book is great. Watching a really great movie, right? But struggling to make yourself into something else that you are not is, to me, sheer torture. Now, you want to make your body different? Go ahead. You want to work out, make your body different. You want to eat different. You want to try. That's fine. But you are not those things. You will never be that body, whatever, you work out, you make all your muscles. Okay, but that's not who you are. That's just something you're wearing. Who you are will always be there with you till the day you die and then get reincarnated. I'm not sure if I expressed that exactly the way it is. This is such a huge topic, but it's a little touch on the premise of, let's go into a very quiet place where all these words that I just used, we can calm the system and start shifting and having better, let's say, healthy control or agency over how those hormones are used. Because the electronics, they have this wonderful thing where we can access information, we can reach the most, I mean, it's incredible the people we can listen to on a daily basis that we had to go to school to meet. Now, if you see some of the interesting people online that are, giving information and educating people, they're better than the teachers I ever went to school with. That, because you go to school and you might have one or two great teachers, but now you can access all those one or two great teachers from every single university. Wow, incredible. Have a great time. But we also have this other piece that is conditioning our brains to get a hit from whatever, whether you're looking at shopping, whether you're looking at video games, whether you're checking your emails, whether you're checking to see, there's one thing, checking to see whether your business is going well, or whether you think, oh, if my business isn't going well, it's a commentary about me. No, it's not. No, it's a commentary maybe on your performance. It's a commentary on, hey, if I'm not doing really well, maybe I have to increase, my what's it called? My abilities. Like maybe I need to have a better ability. Maybe I have to have target my audience. Maybe I need to know how to do SEO. Maybe I need to figure out other things. That's just learning stuff. That's all that is. It's nothing else. If we keep doing the same thing, we're in resignation and we believe that, oh, well, I tried. Okay, I tried. It didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work, but now it's what's next? What else can I do? There's so many things we can do. All you have to do is one of them. You don't have to do 10 of them for whatever you want to do, whether it's, training your body, whether it's training your mind, whether it's breaking the habit of being on the phone, using the phone as an informative device, making sure your brain is looking for the correct information, doing your due diligence to find your information. So we want to access all these parts of the brain. I'm not going to tell you what parts they are. You can do your own research to figure out those parts, but I'm definitely going to work with the thalamus and all of the planets that influence the areas of the brain that are part of the uh, or the not just the cortical brain, but like the cingulate gyrus, the insula, the septal region, and then going into basal ganglia, et cetera. We also want to get the brainstem in there for regulating, and then we want because the only thing that's really important is that you're able to teach yourself to elicit the proper neurotransmitters, not letting the phone do that. Now, this is a huge one because that requires will, and will is from your solar plexus. That's the will center. If you got knee issues, if you got stomach issues, that's a little signal that your will might be telling you something, that you need to do something different. You could be using too much will to do something and you need to pull back, or you might not be using your will in the appropriate domains. That's something for you to, go into a little bit of meditation and figure out. I'm going to balance all of them so that you're better able to see that. So let's just tap all that in, take a deep breath, and we're going to go very, very quiet. I am actually. There's some emotional content also in relationship to the neuropeptides, your endocrines, our endocrines, and the consciousness that this collective that okay, this is my most hated phrase. I can't believe I'm saying it. Well, everybody else is doing it, right? We started saying that as kids. Well, all my friends do, and yet as adults we'll do it. It could be disguised, you know. Well, everyone else believes it, so I believe it too. That this is part of resignation and not doing our due diligence. So if you're really interested in finding purpose in life, in finding those things that you wake up and you're really excited to do. I don't mean like, I mean, just, okay, today, what's my adventure? What's the adventure I'm going to have? Let's see. You don't have to create the adventure. It's like, let's see what will unfold today. It might be just baking a muffin. It might be just talking to the person down the street. It might be, we've got snow out. Maybe it might be just shoveling the snow. And then, oftentimes when you shovel your car out, if it's on the street, then a snowblower comes by and puts it all back. Right. So it's like, oh, my dragons keep coming in. And, how do we look at these things more as excitement? What else are you going to do? People pay money to go to a gym, and yet you could be shoveling the whole block of snow, and you don't have to. But we tend to think of things as difficult when we need to look at things way differently. Think about how easy our lives are compared to 100 years ago. Imagine, trekking through Canada before before there were toilets, before there was a place to sleep. Yeah, unimaginable, unimaginable. I think back to, when I was a kid, and I went to places in the world. It's a little harder to find these places now, but you'd be going to the bathroom in a hole in people's houses. There would be just a dirt hole. You'd have to shower in the barn, and take some water. It would be heated by the sun, and you'd be in the barn and you'd wash your hair. It was a whole other, there was a whole other adventure going on. Now everything is just so modern in most places in the world. Most places in the world. So yeah, you could still find some that aren't. I mean, I think I was in China, mainland China in 1998, and there were still just slats. Like there was there was this restaurant, and you went into the restaurant, ordered a little cup of tea, and then went to the end to go to the bathroom, and it was over the cliffs, right? Remember, you're in the Himalayan mountains now. They're just really, really tall. And there were just two wooden slats, and you're looking down, 2,000 feet and urinating up in the air. So it was just quite something to be doing that. And by the way, doing that while you're dizzy from the runs, because you ate something funky in the capital of Nepal. I was up in it was in Nepal, and got the runs, and I was really dizzy. And there I'm, standing on these two shaky slats, looking, down 2,000 feet, going, okie dokie. All right, what's going to happen? So we're very lucky. We're extremely lucky that we don't have to do all these things. But at the same time, we're really unlucky that we don't get to see how difficult life used to be. And we tend to, get super comfortable in the way things are without realizing, in seconds, we could be in a place where we don't have, right? Like people getting lost in the wilderness. You get lost if you don't know how to deal with being in the wilderness. That could be rough. So good things to think about, and have gratitude for all the wonderful things we have, but keep yourself in the adventure, knowing that, hey, a snowplow could come by and, cover your car again. And that's the worst of our adventures. All right. Love you all. Keep tapping your brain, right? We want to get that dopamine to shift. We want to really understand what is, rather than all this fantasy that very often that's part of what social media does, advertising does. It's all very, very deceptive. We got to keep our minds clean. Another way to do it, yeah, you can do your sessions if you can't get out of the house. The other is get out of your house, go for a walk, go to a park, hug a tree, throw a snowball if you're in the north, roll around on the sand dunes. These are really great things to do, especially before we get too old and we can't do them. I love you all. Have a great day. And see you next week. Bye.